They are already yours. Stop chasing the person and start becoming the signal they can't ignore. The signal they can't ignore. What if the person you love most, the one you keep thinking about, the one whose silence is deafening, the one you are trying so hard to reach, is not pulling away from you? What if they are simply responding to the assumption you are holding about them, about yourself, about what is possible between you? Neville Goddard said, "Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself, and they will confirm the change." Today, I want to show you what that actually means in the reality of your relationship. It's not a philosophy, as lived, embodied, practiced truth. Under assumption effect, we understand something most people never discover. People you desire is not the variable. You are. I want you to think about a tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork and you hold it near another, that second fork begins to vibrate at exactly the same frequency without being touched, without being asked, simply by being close enough to the signal. This is called sympathetic resonance. And it is exactly what happens between you and your specific person. The assumption you hold about them, about yourself in relation to them, creates a frequency. And they vibrate in response to it. If your inner signal is broadcasting, "They don't choose me, they are pulling away, I have to earn their love," they feel that frequency. Not consciously, but in a way you hold yourself around them. In the energy you carry into every message, every glance, every silence between you. And they will respond to what they feel, not to what you say, to what you are assuming. But when you shift that assumption, then your inner signal becomes, "They love being around me." Our connection is natural and easy. I am someone they are drawn to. The tuning fork shifts and they begin to vibrate at the new frequency. Here is what I see most often with specific person work. The person comes to me and they are watching every text. They analyze every response. They're counting the hours between messages, searching for signs. And I understand when you love someone and you feel uncertain, the mind reaches for evidence. But in REBT, Rational Emotional Behavior Therapy, we understand that this reaching is not neutral. Every time you observe them through the lens of, are they still interested? Did I say the wrong thing? Are they drifting? You are feeding the assumption and energy leak. you are broadcasting the very fear you are trying to avoid. And the outer world, your specific person, is simply reflecting that broadcast back to you. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I love this quote because it's so true. The pattern with your specific person is not fate. It is an unconscious assumption running on a loop over and over, and it can be changed. I want to tell you about a client. We call her Sia, protecting her identity. She had an ongoing on-off with someone she deeply loved, hot and cold. Every time things were good between them, warm, connected, easy, something would shift. He would become distant. She would panic. She would reach out more. He would pull back even further. And the cycle would repeat over and over. So she came to me exhausted. Charlene, I don't understand. When I stop caring, he comes back. When I show him I care, he disappears. What am I doing wrong? So the question is, when she reaches out to him, what are the assumption? What is she assuming in the moment before she sends a message? And that was an aha moment for her. The assumption, he doesn't want to hear from me, or he's busy. That was the underlying assumption. He's too busy. So it's not a communication problem. It's not a compatibility problem. It's a frequency problem. Every message she sent was carrying an assumption, I am not enough to keep your attention or his attention. And he was simply responding to that signal. Not to her words, not to her love, but to the assumption underneath. We didn't work on what she said to him. We worked on what she was assuming about herself. So I asked her, what would you feel like if you knew without a doubt that you were someone he was lucky to know? Not hope, knew. She sat, and I could see it in her face that was really, really hitting home.
Yeah.
And she said, I won't be chasing because I would know within that I don't need to doubt and that I don't need to feel uncertain. And that is the key. That is the key. And that is when her state shifted from being uncertain and not feeling good enough about, you know what, I am certain and I am good enough. A new assumption that she held in her body broadcast a new signal. Within 2 weeks, without changing a single external action, just by changing her inner assumption and feeling that certainty, the dynamic between them shifted. She saw the whole 3D, the whole inner world through new glasses, through new perspective. Think about how you hold yourself when you think about your SP. Do your shoulders tighten? Do you think that, oh, he's not going to respond, or, oh, I'm a burden, or, oh, you know what? Because that is a frequency that just by feeling that within yourself is already, before you send the message, is already sending a signal. You must have a confidence and knowing, you know what? He can't wait to hear from him, even before you send the message. A signal of lack or waiting is what you will get back. The lighthouse does not flicker because a storm is passing. It holds its signal. Be the lighthouse. Every time you check their social media looking for signs, you are feeding the assumption of uncertainty. Every time you reply, the last conversation, searching for what went wrong, you are feeding the assumption. So think of a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you water the weeds of doubt within your daily attention, doubt grows. If you water the seeds of the relationship you desire, the warmth, the closeness, the natural love between you, those seeds grows. And they grow in your inner world first, before they ever appear in the physical world. Neville Goddard taught us to live in the end. Not to wish for it, not to hope for it, to assume it is already done. And feel the feeling of that reality now. So the question that I always say is not, why isn't this working? The question is, what am I watering today? State shifting your specific person's assumption is not a one-time declaration. It is daily devotional return to the truth you are choosing. So your specific person is not the problem. The distance is not the problem. The silence is not the problem. The history between you is not the problem. The only thing that has ever stood between you and your relationship you desire is the assumption you have been holding about whether you are someone who gets to have it. Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you. The love you want is not running from you. It is waiting patiently, perfectly, for your inner assumptions to match the frequency of what your heart already knows is possible. Change the assumption. Shift your state. Water the garden of the relationship you desire and watch the world begin to reorganize. Because when you master your assumption, you master your reality. And the person you love will feel the difference before you say a single word. If you're ready to stop this cycle and shift the assumptions for good with your specific person, see my free course, Remove Your Blocks, are in the description. Download it. It's an in-depth course of how to remove your blocks. It's got an EFT session in and repattern in that free course. Also, my specific person magnetism activation shifting course. The link is also down below. Hypnosis with EFT with affirmations inside this course. I will see you in the next video.